Hello everyone, this is Emil from iPhonePhotographyschool.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to take beautiful panorama photos on your iPhone using the AutoStitch app. So I'll go ahead, launch the app, and the first thing you're going to see is this welcome screen. Now on the top left corner you have the eye icon, this one, and if you tap on that you can read more about this app, get some instructions for use, and just some tips for taking beautiful panoramic images. On the top right hand corner you see the settings, and for now I strongly recommend that you leave everything at the default settings, meaning that resolution and blending modes are set to standard. And the cool thing about AutoStitch is that whenever you take or import panoramic images, these images are always saved at full resolution. So even though we've set resolution and blending to standard here, we'll be able to change that later without any quality loss if we like the image that we have taken. For now, we'll leave this at standard because otherwise this app will get really slow. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to take a panoramic picture inside AutoStitch app. So I'll open Shoot Panorama, and that's going to launch this viewfinder. And so now you can see where I'm actually located. I think this place is really beautiful, so I'll try to take a panoramic picture of it. And now the cool thing about AutoStitch is that you can actually set focus and exposure manually for each picture. So at the moment, if I tap on the sky, which is really bright and blown out here, you can see that the exposure was all of a sudden changed, and that now the photo is exposed for the sky, but obviously the garden is left in the dark. Or if I tap on the garden, as I just did now, the sky becomes bright again, and it's unfortunately blown out. Okay, what you can also see here is that if you tap and hold on any place for too long, you get the focus and exposure lock, which can be helpful if you want to have a consistent focus and consistent exposure throughout all your panoramic images. Now honestly, I don't see a reason to have that on, so I'm just going to tap on the screen again, and that will turn off the focus and exposure lock. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start taking the first picture from the left side of this, and I'll just use the automatic focus and exposure here because it seems to look good enough. Okay, so I'll take the first image, and now you can see what the image looks like inside the scene. And if for whatever reason you don't like the image or what it looks like, you can just tap on this red icon and the image is gone. So we'll go ahead and take it once again. Okay, and now if you want to continue adding shots to the panorama, you just move to the right, wait for the phone to turn green as it did now, and then take the next image. Okay, good. And now what you can also see is that you move too far to the right, or to the left for that matter, the phone will no longer look green, and instead it will turn to red, which means that it's not a good time to take a photo. If it's yellow, it's also not so good, but if it's green as it is now, then the conditions are perfect for taking the next photo, so we'll go ahead and do that. By the way, it's interesting that here, when I started taking this panorama, the sun wasn't shining, and it is shining now. So I'm pretty curious to see what the results will look like, because obviously this is going to be a really challenging scene to take panoramic photos. Okay, so now we have 5 photos, which pretty much completes the panoramic image here. And the cool thing about AutoStitch is that you can just turn your phone to the left, as I'm doing it now, and you can see where each of the images used to be. And if you want to just view an individual image, for example image 3, you just tap on it, as I did now, and you can see what image 3 looks like in this context. Same for the image 4, image 5, and so on. And if for whatever reason you want to delete an image, you can do that too. For example here, I feel that the top of the house is kind of overexposed. You can see the blown out areas on the roof. So I don't really like that. So I'll actually go ahead, delete image 5. Oops, delete image 5, and I'll try to take it once again, just to see what it looks like now. Okay, I think this is better, and I'm not quite sure how well it's going to stitch together because the lighting conditions throughout this video were so different, but we'll go ahead and try this anyway. So I'll tap stitch, and the app will do its job now, which might take about a minute or 30 seconds at these settings. Now, if we had selected the highest resolution and the highest quality blending mode, this process might actually take up to 5 minutes, so that wouldn't be good for the purposes of this video. Okay, so we're almost done here. And if we zoom in, you can see that the app has done a pretty accurate job at stitching everything together. But as I was concerned initially, it does look a little bit unnatural because, you know, the sun was shining while I was here, and then it stopped shining here, and then it was never shining here. So it does look a bit unusual, but at the same time, the effect is kind of interesting. It was a bit of post-processing. You can really make this photo stand out, I think. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crop the image using the crop tool here, and it automatically suggests the optimum resolution here. So if I just tap on crop, I get the beautiful rectangular panoramic image, which is perfectly cropped to what I had in mind. Okay, so as I said before, with AutoStitch, all images are always saved at the highest possible resolution, and if at whatever time you decide that you really like a particular panoramic image, you can go ahead and restitch it using higher settings. So if I tap the settings icon on the top right corner, you can see that the resolution was set to standard. I could either set it to high, or I could actually go advanced and then just select the highest settings for both, which would be 100% resolution at 18 megapixels, and go back. And if I go to blending mode, if I select the best blending mode, now I have the highest possible settings that AutoStitch offers. So what I'm offered to do now is to restitch the image. And if you wanted to save the high quality version of this panorama, if you really liked it, you would just go ahead and tap restitch. And with highest quality settings on iPhone 4S, this might take you even 4 or 5 minutes, because it really is a resource intensive task. But you know, if you want the panorama and if you like the image, it's worth it. But since I'm just shooting this video right now, I'm going to go ahead, tap cancel, and I'm not going to restitch the image. But instead, I'll show you one more cool feature about AutoStitch, and that is the fact that all the photos, even if you don't save them, as I didn't save this image now, are always saved automatically in my panoramas. So if you go here, you can see all the panoramas I've taken within the past couple of days, including the last one. So now, and the cool thing is that at any point in time, I have the option to recompile or restitch any of these images, even if I took them days ago, which is really, really cool. But there is a downside, and the downside is that if you have a lot of panoramas hidden here in panoramas section of the app, then the app is going to get bigger and bigger because these images do take up a lot of space. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just save this image to camera roll using the save button here. Choose camera roll, and that will export the final result to camera roll. Okay folks, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you soon.